Mastery of conscious speech. Introduction. Why words matter more than we realize. We speak every day. To ourselves. To others. To the world. But how often do we speak with awareness? In today's fast-paced, overstimulated world, speech has become largely automatic. Words fly from our lips before thought can catch them. We react instead of respond. We speak to fill silence, to defend, to impress, rarely to connect, to heal, or to awaken. Yet in every spiritual tradition, speech is recognized as sacred. In the Vedas, speech is seen as one of the highest forms of energy, Vak Shakti. In Buddhism, right speech is a cornerstone of the Noble Eightfold Path. In Christianity, words are associated with creation itself. In the beginning was the Word. This book is a call to return to that sacred understanding. What you'll discover. The mastery of conscious speech is not just about improving communication. It's about transforming your relationship with language, thought, and energy. In these chapters, you'll learn why thoughts and speech are karmically linked, how to purify your inner dialogue, the spiritual power of silence and pause, why gossip, criticism, and boasting distort the soul, how to speak in a way that uplifts, heals, and empowers, how your voice can become a tool for self-realization. This book draws from ancient wisdom traditions, especially the Vedic, yogic, and Ayurvedic teachings, while offering modern, practical insights for everyday living. Who this book is for? This book is for anyone who feels overwhelmed by conflict or emotional reactivity, wants to speak with more clarity, kindness, and power, is walking a spiritual path and seeking deeper awareness, struggles with inner or outer criticism, desires to use language as a force for good, personally and collectively. Whether you're a teacher, a healer, a seeker, or simply someone trying to live more mindfully, these teachings are meant to support your journey. A personal note. This book is also deeply personal. It is a reflection of many conversations, some that healed, some that harmed, and many that transformed. It is rooted in the realization that our words shape our world, and that by changing our speech, we change our destiny. I invite you to walk slowly through these chapters. Reflect. Breathe. Practice. And above all, speak with love. Welcome to the Mastery of Conscious Speech. Let us begin. Chapter 1. Thought as the root of reality. Before you speak, there is thought. In the beginning was the Word. But before the Word, there was thought. And before thought, there was silence. The journey of transformation begins not with what we say, but with what we think. Every word spoken, every action taken, begins as a subtle ripple in the ocean of the mind. Our thoughts are seeds, and like all seeds, they silently shape the landscape of our inner and outer world. Many spiritual traditions have long understood that thought is creative. What we dwell on, we become. What we repeatedly think, we eventually speak. And what we speak, we manifest, in our relationships, our health, our karma, and our destiny. Yet most people live disconnected from their thoughts. They assume that their mind is merely reacting to life, rather than realizing that the mind is also shaping it. Few pause to ask, what am I thinking? And where is it leading me? The invisible power of thought. Thoughts may be invisible, but they are not without weight. Just as the wind can shape mountains over time, the force of thought silently sculpts the soul. Each thought carries a vibration. Some lift us upward, toward joy and peace. Others pull us downward, toward fear, anger, or despair. Spiritual teachers compare the mind to a field. If you plant seeds of anger, comparison, or fear, those are the crops you'll harvest. If you plant seeds of love, compassion, and clarity, your life will begin to reflect these qualities. That is why the first step on any spiritual path is self-observation. To observe the mind without judgment, like a witness. Not to suppress or escape thought, but to see it clearly. You are not your thoughts. A key realization for spiritual maturity is this. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who sees them. Thoughts come and go, like clouds drifting through the sky. Some are light and inspiring, others heavy and stormy. But none of them define who you are. You are the sky, not the cloud. When you begin to witness your thoughts, rather than react to them, something remarkable happens. You create space. In that space, you can choose. Instead of being a slave to your mental habits, you become free to direct your attention, to cultivate thoughts that serve your growth, not your suffering. The quality of your life equals the quality of your inner dialogue. Most people spend their day in constant mental conversation. They talk to themselves about their worries, their resentments, their desires, their imagined scenarios of success or failure. This inner dialogue becomes the soundtrack of their life, and it has a profound effect on their emotional and spiritual state. If your thoughts are filled with blame, criticism, and comparison, life will feel like a struggle. If your thoughts are filled with kindness, presence, and gratitude, life begins to open, even in hardship. The inner becomes the outer, and the tone of your inner world becomes the tone of your speech. As a practical step, try this simple practice. Whenever you notice a negative or anxious thought, pause and ask, "Is this thought helpful? Does it bring peace?" If the answer is no, gently redirect your attention to the present. Breathe. Smile. Say a quiet thank you. Train your mind the way a gardener trains a vine, guiding it toward the light. Mental pollution is real. Just as we take care of our physical hygiene, we must also tend to our mental hygiene. Negative thoughts are not neutral, they leave residue. They cling to the heart like smoke in a closed room. The more we indulge in resentment, envy, or self-pity, the more they cloud our inner clarity. This is why spiritual traditions speak of mental austerity, the conscious restraint of negative thought patterns. Not repression, but redirection. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, "One must lift oneself by the self, one should not degrade oneself. The self is the friend of the self, and the self is the enemy of the self." Your thoughts can be your best friend, or your worst enemy. You choose which role they play. Cultivating thought discipline. The mind is like a river, it flows where it is allowed to flow. Without guidance, it drifts toward what is loud, sensational, or familiar. That's why the media, gossip, and negative environments have such influence. They offer easy, low-energy food for the mind. To raise your consciousness, you must choose different food. Choose thoughts that nourish the soul. Try starting each morning with a thoughtful intention. Today, I will speak only words that uplift. Today, I will find something to be grateful for in every moment. Today, I will see each person as a reflection of the divine. These small mental shifts are not trivial. They reprogram the mind. And as the mind changes, so does speech, behavior, and fate. From thought to word to destiny, there is a sacred sequence. Thought becomes word. Word becomes action. Action becomes habit. Habit becomes character. And character becomes destiny. If we want to change our destiny, we must begin with thought. Not by force, but by loving awareness. Every elevated life begins with elevated thinking. Silence is not just the absence of noise, it is the space from which truth emerges. When we learn to sit in silence and observe our thoughts, without reacting, we return to our original state, peace. From this place, our words carry power. Our speech becomes clean. Our mind becomes a temple. Practice mental cleansing for 7 days. Here's a simple spiritual exercise to begin disciplining the mind. 1. Observe your thoughts without judgment. 2. Label them. Is this thought positive, neutral, or negative? 3. Replace negative thoughts with simple mantras. Oh peace. Oh God is in control. Oh for everything, God's love. At the end of each day, journal. Oh what thoughts dominated my day? Did I catch and redirect negative patterns? Did my inner dialogue support my well-being? Over time, you will see how this small practice creates major transformation. Closing reflection. Your thoughts are not random. They are prayers. They shape your world, whether you realize it or not. Speak only after thinking. Think only after becoming still. When you master your thoughts, you master your life. Chapter 2. The Inner Dialogue. Healing the voice within. There is a voice inside your head. It never stops speaking. It judges, compares, analyzes, criticizes, plans, complains, desires, and doubts. For most people, this inner voice runs on autopilot. We don't question it, we believe it. And because we believe it, we suffer. Yet the voice is not your true self. It is the conditioned mind, a stream of thoughts formed by past experiences, cultural programming, fears, and memories. If left unchecked, this voice becomes the root of insecurity, shame, and constant dissatisfaction. But there is another way. You can learn to listen differently, to recognize when your mind is speaking from fear rather than truth. And slowly, with awareness and compassion, you can heal the way you speak to yourself. What is the inner dialogue? Your inner dialogue is the conversation you have with yourself, silently, continuously, and often unconsciously. It shapes how you see yourself, how you respond to the world, and even how others treat you. If this voice is kind, encouraging, and spiritually anchored, you will radiate strength and calm. If this voice is harsh, anxious, or constantly critical, life will feel like a burden, even in moments of peace. Here are common signs of a destructive inner voice. I'm not good enough. They don't respect me. I'll never change. Everything always goes wrong for me. This kind of self-talk weakens your spirit. It keeps you in cycles of self-doubt and emotional exhaustion. Worst of all, it can become so familiar that you no longer notice it. You simply live inside its emotional weather. The mind as a trickster. The mind is clever. It can justify anything, excuse anything, and defend any illusion, no matter how painful or self-defeating. One of the most subtle tricks of the ego is to turn self-awareness into self-condemnation. It whispers, "See, you're still angry. You still haven't changed. You're failing again." This is not the voice of truth. It is the voice of ego trying to stay in control through guilt and shame. True self-awareness is never harsh. It is honest, but loving. It sees your flaws, but reminds you of your divinity. It invites change, but never with punishment. Spiritual growth begins when we stop arguing with ourselves and start listening with love. How to recognize your inner tone. Ask yourself right now, if I spoke to others the way I speak to myself, would I be considered kind or cruel? Would you speak to a child the way you speak to your own heart? If not, something must change. Because until your inner voice becomes your ally, every other practice will be limited. You may pray, meditate, or serve others, but if you secretly believe you are unworthy, broken, or failing, then your spiritual energy leaks silently through self-rejection. 3 types of inner dialogue. Just like external speech, inner speech can be divided into the 3 modes of consciousness. Goodness, sattva. I am a soul, learning and growing. Every mistake is a lesson. God is guiding me. I am enough as I am. This voice is calm, forgiving, and wise. It brings peace, clarity, and inner strength. Passion, rajas. I need to achieve more. I'll be happy when I succeed. I must prove myself. Others are better than me. This voice is restless, ambitious, and attached to results. It creates stress and comparison. Ignorance, tamas. And nothing matters. I'll never change. A life is unfair. I hate myself. This voice is dark, heavy, and often self-destructive. It leads to depression, isolation, and resentment. Spiritual practice involves observing which voice dominates, and gently shifting from tamas and rajas towards sattva. Healing begins with awareness. The first step is to notice. To slow down and simply witness, what am I saying to myself right now? This awareness alone begins to break the spell. You don't need to fight the thoughts. Just see them clearly and let them pass, like clouds across the sky. With time, you'll find a deeper voice within, one that doesn't shout, but whispers. A voice that feels ancient, still, and true. It says things like, "Be still. You are loved. Let go. Trust." This is the voice of your higher self, the soul. To hear it, you must turn down the volume of the mind. Practice, conscious inner conversation. Here is a daily practice to begin transforming your inner speech. 1. Start the day with a declaration. Today, I will speak to myself with love. 2. Throughout the day, notice negative self-talk. When you hear it, pause and say, "That's just a thought, not the truth." 3. Replace it with something healing. "Oh, I am doing my best. Oh, I trust the process. Oh, this too shall pass." 4. Before bed, speak to yourself like a dear friend. Reflect with kindness. What did I learn today? What am I grateful for? Why inner speech shapes karma. Even unspoken thoughts carry karma. Why? because they influence how we feel, speak, and act, which in turn shapes our destiny. You may not speak a cruel word out loud, but if you think it constantly, it affects your vibration and attracts suffering. This is why saints and sages place such importance on purifying the mind. A clean mind becomes a clean heart, and a clean heart becomes a channel for divine will. Closing reflection. Your inner voice is either a chain or a key, a curse or a blessing, a critic or a guide. You decide. To begin healing your world, start by healing your words. To heal your words, start by healing your thoughts. And to heal your thoughts, begin by listening to them, with love. Mantra for Chapter 2. I am not my thoughts. I am the one who sees. I choose peace. Chapter 3. The energetics of speech. Every word carries weight. Speech is not just sound, it is energy in motion. Every word you say carries a vibration that impacts your mind, body, and the world around you. Some words uplift and heal. Others wound, even when whispered. In spiritual traditions across time, from the Vedas to the Bible, from the Tao to the teachings of indigenous wisdom, it is taught that speech has creative power. It can bless or curse, build or destroy, align or divide. That's why the spoken word is sacred, and why careless speech is spiritually costly. Speech is karma in action. Our words are one of the most direct expressions of our karma. Every time we speak, we plant seeds. We either contribute to harmony or to dissonance, within ourselves and in others. A kind word spoken at the right time can heal years of pain. A harsh or sarcastic remark, even if just a joke, can linger in someone's heart for a lifetime. According to the Mahabharata, those who use speech to insult or manipulate others accumulate negative karma, not just for the action itself, but for the intention and vibration behind the word. In contrast, those who speak with compassion and truth uplift not only others but themselves. The subtle science of vibrations. In Sanskrit, the term sabda means both sound and divine vibration. The sages taught that sound is not just physical, it carries the subtle energy of consciousness. Every syllable we utter affects the energy field around us. This is why mantras are so powerful. When repeated with sincerity and purity, a mantra harmonizes the inner world. Not because of magic, but because conscious sound aligns mind, breath, and soul. Likewise, gossip, vulgarity, and angry speech disrupt our internal frequency. Even if others don't hear it, the vibration returns to us like an echo. What we say returns. The energy of speech is not neutral. It either elevates or depletes. The 4 gates of sacred speech. Before speaking, pass your words through 4 spiritual gates. 1. Is it true? Truth is the foundation. Without it, speech becomes manipulation. 2. Is it necessary? Many words are spoken out of habit, fear, or ego. Silence is often more powerful. 3. Is it kind? Truth without kindness becomes a weapon. Speak truth as medicine, not as punishment. 4. Is it timely? Even the right words can do harm if spoken at the wrong moment. When we pause and reflect before speaking, we begin to honor speech as a sacred act, not just communication, but creation. How speech affects the body and mind. Words don't just affect others, they imprint our own bodies and minds. A harsh, angry speech increases stress hormones in both speaker and listener. A kind, loving words trigger oxytocin, the hormone of bonding and peace. A complaining regularly lowers immunity and increases fatigue. A chanting or praying regularly calms the nervous system and improves mental clarity. In Ayurveda, it is taught that excessive or unconscious speech drains ojas, the subtle life force. That's why sages speak little and precisely. Their words carry weight, not volume. Speech as service or sabotage. Our voice can become an offering, a way to serve others, uplift hearts, and share love. But it can also become a weapon, often without our realizing. Sarcasm, passive-aggressiveness, or idle criticism seem harmless at first. But over time, they poison relationships, sap joy, and create karmic debt. Ask yourself, do my words heal or harm? Do I use my voice to uplift or to control? Do I speak to be understood, or to prove something? Every word spoken in ego is like a stone thrown into the river of life. The ripples return. The power of silence. One of the most overlooked aspects of conscious speech is silence. Not just the absence of sound, but the presence of awareness. Silence creates space. It allows truth to emerge. It reduces emotional intensity. In silence, We listen more. We judge less. We speak with greater care. The sages practiced mauna, or sacred silence, not as a vow of isolation but as a practice of internal alignment. It teaches us that speech is a choice, not a compulsion. When we speak less, our words begin to shine with clarity and presence. Practical practices for conscious speech. Here are simple, powerful ways to begin purifying the energetic quality of your speech. 1. Begin your day in silence. Avoid talking for the first 10 to 15 minutes. Let your mind settle in stillness. 2. Offer your speech to the divine. Mentally say, "May my words today uplift, not harm." 3. Track your speech for one day. At the end of the day, reflect. Oh, did I gossip? Oh, did I raise my voice? Oh, did I speak with love? 4. Practice speaking less, meaning more. Say what is needed, no more, no less. 5. Use your voice to bless. Say something kind to someone each day, sincerely, without expectation. Closing reflection. Your words are energy. They are either bridges or barriers, prayers or poisons. Each sentence you speak is a stroke on the canvas of your life. Speak with awareness. Speak with kindness. Speak as if each word is heard by the divine, because it is. Mantra for Chapter 3. May my words bless the world, and return to me as peace.